Rabbi Rob thinks it's tier 2, 41 months. With the Giga cheer. Nice, dude. Tier 2 is a big tier. I appreciate it. I'm still kind of working on something for the stream. I'm typing away. So I'm going to give you guys a baitman. We haven't had a baitman in a while. Any bait men in the chat? Yo. He's doing this fine evening. Oh, I'm thinking let's have a walk in Bern, shall we? Reef. Thanks with Big Prime for 2 months. Made the HeyWoah oof face today at the local game store when you saw they had 10 of the Dark Oath army boxes stacked in a corner. Yeah. Yeah. Look, Dark Oath isn't even bad. It's just they're in the coolest looking army as a kind of a random new third of the army that doesn't look cool. I think a lot of it has to do with aesthetics. I don't even think Dark Oath is bad. And there were times where it was quite good even. It's just like, I don't know. You have the coolest looking dudes ever, and then you're like, what if we had a bunch of other stuff? I don't know. Big shrugs. Big shrugs. I see a 2,000 word essay in chat. So this is either a meme or somebody's telling me about their life story. Hey, well, just wondering. Have you heard of Huey Lewis in the news? You know I have. I see it's a Bateman meme. Good work. But I will not read it. It isn't bad, but that's a huge investment. That's just not going to move. Yeah, you meant from the store buying it for trying to sell it later purposes, in which case it is an oof. In which case it is kind of an oof. Who else is going to fill the weekend with Warhams? You're going to work on your final unit of big boys for your 2K list. Throw down some more Spearhead, Soothsayer. What kind of big boys? How big are the boys? Do you mean like Gutbusters, which are pretty big? Or do you mean like Sons of Behemoth, which are very big? Kayem says Idneth Rise. I don't know too much about Idneth this edition. I know that they're supposedly very difficult to play. That's all I know about them. They're not bad, but their skill floor is really high. And so if you just kind of drive some stuff around willy-nilly, you'll get exploded. Unlike easier armies to play, like Ogres, where you drive your stuff around and just kind of slap shit. The big boys are Crypt Horrors and Converted from Gorgers. Oh, okay, big. Alright, it passes the big check. We're good. Sad to admit, you're dropping one big boy from your list. Rodicus just isn't cutting it. Apple Juicy. That's too bad. It's always sad when a big boy gets cut from a list, but hey, the purpose of the game is to try to win the game and have your guys be good. Hopefully in a fun way, right? And if they aren't cutting it, they aren't cutting it. You think Dark Oath are cool, however the Chosen and Warriors are just cooler? Yeah, I agree. Well, I half agree. I don't actually think Dark Oath are cool. I don't like Dark Oath, really. I'm not a big fan of them. I'm a fan of conceptually what they could have ended up looking like. But regardless, Chosen and Warriors are just cooler looking. You'd plan to paint all the endless spells this weekend, but they won't be here until Tuesday. Oh shit, well. You know, your future is wide open. You have total freedom. Now you can do whatever you want. As your arcade got his Bloodthirster from Commission Painter Buddy. Getting ready for Adepticon. Oh, he's thirsty. Not bad. Actually, we're way ahead of schedule. Isn't Adepticon in like April or something? It's always good to be prepared, right? There may be a balance update or two in the interim, and who knows what could happen. So I guess be prepared. We're on 2 aggression riders. I think you probably meant Agradon, but your phone doesn't know what Agradon is. While at work, life could be worse. Yeah, there you go. You work slow? Well, fair enough. I do too. Yeah, just like Scar and those hyenas said, right? Got Magic Games this weekend, or am I grinding Dragon Warrior 3 all weekend? We need to save you from that. I might have to leave the house tomorrow, which would be very sad. But we'll see what happens about that one, but I'm down for some Magic. I'm always down for some Magic if I manage to have time. I gotta continue the trend of playing a different one every time. I can reach into the vault. Yeah, wide Excel gaming. Your phone isn't down with the great plan. Someday it may be. I gotta click on something here real quick. I'm looking, I'm a looker. I'm also a scroller. And you guys talk a lot. Oh, there we go. There it is. Getting all my ducks in order here for the eventual content portion of the stream, but we're chilling for now. Don't worry about it. Emerging from the dungeons to menace the local peasants. Yeah. Yesterday was the Dungeons and Dragons 5.24 stream. Part 2 of 3. I think there's really only one more part to it, for the most part. We did the first third of the book, which was just essentially the core rules of the game for the most part. They didn't change a lot. It was a lot of reading mostly the same stuff that it used to be, because it's a patch, you know. And then the second one was just about all the stuff after that. Backgrounds, races, equipment. Skills, that kind of thing. We only have 2 sections left. Classes and spells. I think there's 700 pages of spells or something like that. So I'm probably gonna be paraphrasing some of those. Just really scrolling through, hitting the high points. But I think we can get through the classes in one stream. I have to say, after looking at the feats, I found them to be extremely boring. I don't know. Not exciting. Just not exciting. All the races, all the feats, all the backgrounds. Very boring. Kind of bland. And not just like balance wise, because you know there's no power attack anymore and this and that, you know. Some of the more powerful effects have been tamped down, but you play Rifts, what did you expect? I guess in fact I even talked about that during the stream. I'm like, I bet I've been playing too much Rifts recently, and so no matter what Dungeons and Dragons 5.2.5 could have put out, I would be bored by it, right? So, and that could be unfair, and it could also be kind of true, and so I talked about it during the stream. Like, I might just be kind of swimming in a more exciting sea at the moment, and there wasn't much that it could have done to make it really hype. But also we skipped the most exciting part, which is class. You know, they really put the classes front and center here and diluted a lot of the interest from all the other stuff. It's your fault that you know AoS is a game, El Mumi. Alright. Hey, I hope you like it. Or if you're not playing it, then thanks for watching. Last time you played Magic, you made a grown man flip the table with back-to-back turn 2 hatred wins. It was a lot longer ago than you would like to admit. Anyone who gets that mad over a game is not a grown man. But, you know, fair enough. I like hatred. It's a funny card. You gotta be prepared for it. Sometimes, I know it costs 5, and it takes a lot of life, and nowadays costing 5, you're supposed to get 3 paragraphs on the card, you know, but you still have to respect the possibility. It could happen. Ideal potato. Thanks for the big prime. Thanks for being a new primer. Appreciate it. Does broadcaster approve Wart the Raid Mother? She's the one who taps to copy a spell, right? That one. If I'm remembering her correctly. I think she's one of the only green-red commanders that interacts with spells in any meaningful way. The rest of them are just like big stupid dudes for the most part. Let me look. Am I getting this right? Wart the Raid Mother. Am I remembering the right card? I am. Yeah. 3/3 for 6. Grull. When she enters, create 2 goblins that are red and green, and then each red or green instant or sorcery you cast has Conspire, which means you tap 2 creatures to share a color with it, and then you can copy it. So yeah, I do, yeah. She costs, like, 6 is modern Magic, right? Nowadays Magic, 6 is kind of a ridiculously high cost for what she does. But she's one of the only green-red commanders you could play that give a shit about spell slinging. So I approve. Trying to do something different. I like it. I approve. And originally from, I think, Shadowmoor or something like that, if I remember correctly. Which, maybe I do, maybe I don't. Let me click. Yeah, Shadowmoor. Which was a great set for Commander.
Good job, King.
Small parts, sharp points. Thanks to the tier 1. For 6 months. Thanks for the content. Hey, thanks for the sub. I appreciate it. Back then you just cast double dark red. Yeah, sure. That's true. You're gluing together a ridiculous number of hobby zone desk modules. Elbow deep in wood glue. Send help and soothing vibes. I'm working on it. We're walking through a Switzerland winter wonderland over here. Also, Dark Oath are cool. Who doesn't like howling barbarians? Basically me. I mean, they're okay. They can be really cool, but generally they're not.
Which part?
Where I kind of land with it for the most part. El Moomel is the prime for 2 months. Oh, was that a mistake? If it was a mistake, I think you can charge it back. Oh, I don't think you can charge back a prime, maybe. That might be a problem. Well, sorry about that in any case. You think of making a Magar of the Magic Strings commander deck. You think he's the coolest Rakdos commander. Magar? It's a newer card. I don't know what it is. Oh, because it was in the joke set. No to the name of target instant or sorcery in your graveyard. Put on the battlefield face down. It's 3/3. When it deals combat damage to a player, you can create a copy of the card with a noted name and cast it for free. And then if it would, do whatever, exile it. Interesting. Okay. Magar is a funny little guy. He's a funny little guy. I wish he wasn't in Rakdos. That's my problem with him. That sounds like a really awesome commander with a fun kind of effect that's really slow and patient, and you're supposed to have your guys out and nobody's really disrupted. So like a casual kind of commander that takes its time and swings with stuff and maybe tries to give them haste. But I'm sad that it's in Rakdos, because that's an effect that I want in a blue deck. And maybe some other colors. But he's interesting. I just like reusing instants and sorceries. It's one of the few things you still really can't do. They're terrified of doing that. Despite the fact that creatures are basically better than instants and sorceries now, for the most part. Sometimes hilariously better. They still don't let you recycle them. It's so easy to get a creature from your graveyard back to your hand or back to the battlefield. There's a million ways to do that in basically every color. The instants and sorceries is like 4 cards and they're bad. Or they're like a 4-mana creature that does it a single time, you know. Getting Khorne tonight? Yeah, sure. It's the one that I thought we did. But actually, I just played against it a bunch. So, might as well do that. That one tonight. I think, since I'm leaving the Wizard Tower tomorrow anyway, I might as well go to the farmer's market. I ran out of farmer's market stuff. I got nothing left. Even the things that last for a while. You know, like a little jar of honey or something like that. The thing that just sits in your cupboard forever, and even if you're regularly using it, just kind of takes forever to run out of it. Well, I finally did. And they got this special maple syrup that's pretty nice out there. Anyway, it's a pretty good farmer's market. Khorne. Question, what's the best website to look at the coolest looking MTG art? You once saw a really good angel with golden light. You're not into MTG. You just haven't found the deck that looks cool for you. Scryfall is probably the place to go for that. Scryfall has a decent search program, and when you click on a card on it, it will show you all of the different printings and all of the different arts for it. Although you do have to kind of know, like, you have to be familiar with the game to search for stuff. You have to know, like, the card's name or some details about it. So there is that. If you could describe the angel, like the art of it, it's possible I would know what card you're talking about. There's a non-zero chance. There's like 60,000 Magic cards, but if you describe the art to me, it's not outside of the realms of possibility that I know what it is, as long as it hasn't been printed in the last like 5-10 years. Beautiful angel with golden light, that's a lot of them. Yeah, it doesn't too much narrow it down. You thought farmer's market was code for grass, then you remembered you're old and it's legal now, and you probably can get that next to the honey at an actual farmer's market. No, I'm not a drug user anymore. Since I quit smoking, I'm drug free. And I never smoked marijuana anyway. I was always weird enough, and it smells really bad. And I didn't like its effect on people around me when they did. People who like can't go to sleep without it, can't wake up without it. They think they have good ideas when they're on it, but they don't. It smells really bad. I never really liked the whole marijuana thing. But I guess I never tried it. I've just been around people who are not. I don't think it's I don't think it's actually addicting. So if I were to use the word addicted, it would be kind of wrong. But they were all but addicted to it, you could say. Like, you can be addicted to a TV show. It was kind of like that. They weren't chemically addicted, if it matters. But reminds you of a black-white deck you played a while back where there was +1/+1 when attacking alone for every card with the keyword. Epic legendary orange icon card with an angel on it. +1/+1 when attacking alone. That is it's kind of like a Rafik style effect, right? There is an angel that has that. I think they might actually be angels. What is it? When you attack alone, you can search for an enchantment. Put it out? Yeah, it's called Exalted is the mechanic. Any idea on how to deal with Hurricane? Playing as Gloomspite Gietz. Counterplay advice. I haven't played against Lumineth. I haven't gotten a game against Lumineth yet. And so I don't have advice on playing against Huracan because I haven't been there. Apologies. Addicted to card games, plastic soldiers, the list goes on. Yeah, I suppose in a certain way. I mostly just play Commander now. I'm like a recovering Magaholic, I guess, or something like that. And as far as toy soldiers, you know, I like Age of Sigmar plenty, and I do shows about it and stuff like that and streams. But, you know, I have my army and I painted it up and I think it looks very nice, and I go to an event every once in a while, but I'm not just shooting dollar bills at Games Workshop across the ocean, you know. I buy stuff when I need to or want to, but usually just don't. I still have one army. You made a beef stew? Let's go. Beef stew's great. What kind of thickening agent did you use, if any, for the stew? Flour, a little bit? I make it the way my great aunt used to make it, and she would put like tapioca in it instead of flour. I mean, not a crazy amount, but I don't know that it's better. It's just like an old, neat way of doing it, I suppose. Nostalgic in a sense. You know, stew goes great with some mashed potatoes, and cottage cheese actually goes with stew pretty well, I think. Use cornstarch, nice. Adds just a little sweetness to it. You missed the Stormcast stream. How sick is the new Lord Relictor? Pretty sick. You know, I liked the original one. And I liked the aesthetic of it and the super, you know, Catholic bones of a saint kind of obsessed with death sort of stuff. I liked that kind of aesthetic to it. And now we get a new one, and it looks even better. He's less wide. I guess that's a complaint, if it is even a complaint. He's less wide. Not quite as wide, but he was absurdly wide gaming before, so yeah, new Relictor looks great. Looks really good. I hope they will sell him. Are we in place Germany? I don't know. I think it's Switzerland. It's called Bern, which is probably Switzerland. Sounds like it, but I couldn't tell you. I don't know a lot about the geography of other countries. You added some sour cream to the potatoes, and they're soft enough to basically be mashed. Yeah, that's generally how it works out. That's a good one. You're not instinctively a Stormcast guy, but they are looking nice, or like they're making all the Blood Angels fans weep. Yeah, I mean, it's not a competition, so I don't know. I don't feel like kicking them when they're down. I'm just happy about my stuff. Sorry about your stuff. How often do AoS armies slip from the haves to the have-nots? Basically every season. Or every book release, or every rules update, or every edition. Sometimes you're just good for 6 years. And it doesn't change, right? There was a point in time where Daughters of Cain was just good forever. It was just great. They made Marathi, and from the point at which they created Marathi until the indexes were announced for 4th edition, more or less, there was, a little bit here and there, but for the most part, Doc was just always great. Always. And people were like, it's illegal for Doc to be bad. So, yeah, that's the soup you're jumping into, as far as haves and have-nots. Some things never change. Some things are bad for 6 years. Some things are good for 6 years. But there's an opportunity for things to change basically every 6 months. And they're more likely to now than before. Because they're really kind of tooling with stuff more often, especially once we got seasons. Which is annoying, because what you want to do with an expensive hobby that takes a while to paint stuff, what you want to do is be like, okay, fine, if this shit really is just going to cost $500, I want to buy this and use it for fucking ever. But that may or may not be the outcome. Generally, the game stays more or less balanced in the grand scope, and with the new style of the battle tomes, no spoilers, they will be more balanced than ever. Probably, we're assuming, Matt Rose's job in 3rd was keeping everybody's win rates mostly the same. And he did that better than Games Workshop has ever done that before. It left something to be desired. There was still the best army, and there were still outliers here and there all the time. But he wrangled about 20 of the 26 armies into a 45 to 55 place. So maybe if you're looking for some sort of peace and quiet, if you're in what they call it is the fat middle, then probably you'll just stay there and it's fine. If you're in the red zone at the very top or the black zone at the very bottom, then things will probably change, because the outliers are who they're trying to affect. Did you go to college? Yes. And if so, what did you study? Fine arts film. Fine arts film, editing, directing, and script writing. That's what the non-rotating Magic formats used to be, but with Horizons and the broken Commander cards, rip. Yeah, basically. The reason players like non-rotating formats is because they don't want things to change too much. They would like to play Goblins in 2001, and they want to still play Goblins in 2016. And you know, an updated card here or there is fine and very welcome, but they want the archetype to survive, and the general playstyle or something to survive. The whole point of an Eternal format is that you don't have to buy 100% back into it every X amount of time. Who wants to do that, right? But from a company perspective, Eternal formats are trash. You make money by selling packs. Legacy players don't buy packs. Vintage players don't buy packs. Commander players don't buy packs. They're correct too, because packs are a sucker's game. Or a store. If you're a store, sure. If you're selling cards, sure. But generally, if you're buying packs, you're a sucker, right? You buy singles. And so they discovered a way. They're like, hold on. I know about a way that we can have a non-rotating format, an Eternal format, kind of rotate, if you think about it a little bit. We'll just power creep the absolute fuck out of it. So when we release Modern Horizons, the cards are so broken that they basically cause the format to rotate. And it trickles down even into more resilient formats and long-lived ones like Vintage and Legacy, because the cards are so crazy. And then they come out with Modern Horizons 2, they're like, all right, Eternal formats, here's your rotation, who's ready for another rotation? So yeah, obviously the downside to that is you can only power creep for so long before things become absurd. There actually is a limit to how good cards can actually be before the game becomes impossible to play or keep up with. But their parent company, Hasbro, is suffering hard enough with all of their other games being bad that they're just telling them to do it anyway. Fuck the future, dude. It's about the next quarter. So who knows what'll happen. Not my problem. Not my problem anymore. I'm just a commander retiree over here. You'll say this, Deep Strike not being a standard mechanic in AoS makes Stormcast a lot more cool. Yeah, it makes them more unique. I like it when armies have, not truly unique, you know, other armies, there are a few other armies that have something like the Stormcast Deep Strike, you know, here and there. But it's not like a keyworded ability that simply everyone can just choose to do always. It makes it more special, which I appreciate. Ahem. Constant Screaming, thanks for the watch streak, appreciate it. Will we ever get a HeyWoah recipe book? It would just be my mom's recipe book. Mom's a real good cook and a real good baker as well. And I just steal all her recipes when I want to make something. So it would just be that. In America, you've got kefir. It's like a type of sour buttermilk. Grandma used to add that to mashed potatoes. Sour buttermilk. I think so, but it's probably under a different name. Because I've made mashed potatoes, and I remember using something like that. But I couldn't tell you what it was called. And you had to go to the fancy grocery store to get it. I just bet it's not, you know, what it probably has some Merca-ass name over here. But yeah, getting just a little bit of sour in those mashed potatoes while still creaming them up is is a good one, depending on what you want to do with them later. Did you ever play any more Spearhead? Nah. No, I was being completely honest and truthful when I talked about Spearhead after my game. I said, I believe, I can't quote myself, I don't know what my words were, but I said, I like Spearhead, it's great, they clearly play tested it a lot. It's what the game needed. The game needed some sort of low points thing for new players to get into. It's very well balanced. The games are usually always close. It's great. I'm never going to play it again. I have nothing but good things to say about it, and it's good for the game. And I had fun. Don't want to ever play it again. Your mom probably made potato pancakes. Yeah. Both types. There's two schools of thought, because potato pancakes come from a few different cultures, you know. You can either put sour cream on them, or you can put applesauce on them. And both are good in their respective different ways, you know. You can have more of a German style, you know. You go to a place, you get spätzle and red cabbage or something like that, and some sausages, you know. Or you can do it the other way around. There's actually a pretty decent Chinese potato pancake style thing. What's it called? It looks like a tortilla, kinda, but it's a little thicker than that. And it has there's some green. You know, they slice some green into that stuff. What are those things called? That Chinese thing. I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, scallion pancake. That's it, yeah. Maybe that's not actually a potato pancake, but I don't know what they make it out of. But that thing's good too. All potatoes are beautiful, true. People in your area love Spearhead. Every week there's been a lot of pickup games. That's good, yeah, it's good for it. And it's good for the game to be able to have new players do something like that. And because you can't choose your lists, like there's no list building, right? And because there's no list building, you really could have tournaments and they'd be really fair. You know, bona fide tournaments in that thing. If you wanted to. And the games are shorter as well. Hadiak with beef and chi. Kimchi pancakes. I like kimchi. I haven't had kimchi on pancakes, but I like kimchi. It smells hella bad, right? But it's quite delicious when you add it to other things. A little bibimbap for breakfast, you know, one of them stone bowls, something like that. Yeah, I'm a big fan. Latkes, yeah. It sounds like I'm making this shit up. Like, out of context, bibimbap is... You're like, this is a cartoon. That's not true, but it's, I don't know, it's a funny little... I think it's a breakfast thing. Maybe it's not a breakfast thing, but I've only ever had it for breakfast at Korean places. It's that certain kind of food preparation that's pretty rare, but you do see it. Generally from islands and stuff. The concept of very slightly actually burning the food so that it sticks to whatever pan or skillet or stone bowl that you're making it in. So it actually very slightly burns it, but it really does add to it. It's a controlled burn is what it is. And I'm not talking about frying something, that's different, right? But that's kind of rare, and you see it pop up every once in a while in a culture here or there, and if they do it right, it's so fucking good. Wok hay. Wok hay? Sure. Yeah, I haven't heard that before, but yeah, sure. Wok hay. Interesting. Proud list building hater, most annoying part of Magic. Just give me a pre-built commander deck and then swap out maybe 5 cards. Yeah, see, that's very much not me. But there's a kind of a divide, you know, in Magic especially. There always has been brewers and pilots, the 2 archetypes, and the very rare person who's good at both. So, yeah, that's fine. Magic is a strong enough game that you can just enjoy that one part of it and still have plenty of fun, you know. I'm more of a brewer, but there's room for both. There's a Japanese restaurant you go to that makes a killer Okonomiyaki? Japanese equivalent of all of this stuff. Yeah, because it's got yaki at the end of it, right? So, alright. There's a real nice fighting game-esque mastery with fixed lists. But it's pros and cons for sure, yeah. It's just a different sort of skill tester. You like regiment system, but since it's a module, y'all think the next GHB could totally rework list building, replacing the module? As long as it's a module, the GHB can replace it. Or rather, not even just the GHB, they could replace anything. That's the whole point of the modular system. Well, actually, I think the point of the modular system is a marketing gimmick. Entirely. But they could just change a module and fix something right up if they wanted to. KO trains, there they are. Everybody wave. Look at that terrain, fully painted. Heroes and drops seem like a bit of an issue. Yeah, I have... One of the biggest problems with 4th edition is that army building has never been worse. And you could laser focus in on a few of the reasons why, but it kind of depends on how you're intending to fix it. But suffice it to say that army building has never been worse, I don't think. It's so bad. Every hero is a drop. There's no alternative. Everyone has to do the 1-drop thing. Like before, you didn't have to do the 1-drop thing if you didn't want to, or if your army wasn't built for it. You could get a consolation prize, and it usually wasn't worth it, to be fair, but it was something. You got a free artifact or whatever. And now everyone is forced to just do that, and you don't get anything if your army isn't good at that, or if you want to play in a different way. You just get kind of hosed. I really don't care for that. And it's toxic to any hero but the 2 singular best, most efficient, like wizard heroes in every army. It kind of shuts them all off. And they have a system for adding them back in if you want, which is the free hero upgrade thing. But they didn't do that to almost anything, and they did it in seemingly a very random way. You hated Battleline If, so did I. Yeah. Army building has never been AoS's strong point. The system is always, like, humongously flawed. And they keep changing it, and they change it in fairly big ways. But I guess, you know, you're in the center of a open field, there's a lot of wrong places to walk. And they keep doing it. What if we just didn't care about 1-drops? Then you go first every game. You know? Do you have a battle tactic to do if you go first that doesn't overextend you into kind of losing? You can play a high drop army for sure this edition. A few armies do. How bad is it to go first? In the aggregate, extremely bad. But You know, if you zoom in, who knows? You got to be able to square a few circles, not going first. Or not choosing who goes first. Because you're probably going to be given the first turn, which is a bad turn to get. You don't want to go first. You're out of range of everything. And to get into range is to open yourself up to the potential for your opponent punishing you for moving forward and then doubling you when the game's over. Which wasn't as serious in 3rd edition, although it always has been a thing in Age of Sigmar. It's almost never been more brutal than this edition, because you get big rewards for early punishing double turns now. And it's funny because clearly they didn't intend for you to. They tried to make it bad to take an early double, and they accidentally made it more powerful than ever to take a double turn early. So, yeah, you know, you can tell what their intention was. They just accidentally did, ironically, the exact opposite of that. Am I going to watch the new Nosferatu movie? Maybe. I'll look into it. I didn't know there was a new Nosferatu movie until you just mentioned it in chat. So I don't know, maybe. Only thing semi-good about going first is doing the center tactic. Yeah. You know, the issue is it's hard to do the center tactic and not get really punished for doing the center tactic. But it can be done. That's the whole, sort of the difficulty of going first, is you can do the 2 side ones, battle tactic, if you have the units for it, and you can do the center tactic if you have the units for it. But it's hard to do that and not get got. You ever plan to go over the armies of, or units of renown? I think the slaves one is really cool. Army of Renown is the... Now there's 2 really similar sentences. Army of Renown and what's the other one? One of them is basically what allies are now. But they gave it a name very similar to Armies of Renown. Wait, Regiments of Renown. That's it, yeah. That's why it's very similar, because it uses the same fucking word. Regiments of Renown are just allies, right? And then there's Armies of Renown, which was the Broken Realms thing that they did not carry into the new edition before. Twice. And then they did this time. And so I thought I was going to get away scot-free not having to read the temporary things. But maybe they're not temporary. How long are they supposed to last? Are they just in the game forever? What have they said about them? If they're a legit part of the game and it's not going away, then I'm going to have to go over them. I simply have to. It would be like not going over an army or something, right? But I always thought they were temporary, and so it's kind of like... It was kind of like Twitter. It's kind of like being old and looking at Twitter and... What's the really brainless one? Instagram? No. The more brainless than that even. TikTok, that's it. So once you're old, you see some new technology and you're like, this thing is for people with no attention span, and it's just shit, and it makes the world a worse place. So instead of give a shit about it, I'm gonna just wait for it to die, because it's so obviously trash that it'll just die eventually, right? And you're usually right about that. A lot of trends and stuff usually die. But unfortunately, some of them stick around and become a part of culture forever. Like Twitter, or TikTok, or something. And so you're like, well, son of a bitch, I was just gonna wait for this stupid crap to die, but it hasn't, and now I have to interact with it, you know. I don't think Armies of Renown are inherently trash. Like, you know, I guess maybe that's the part of this example that isn't a fair comparison. I don't think they're like bad for the world or anything like that. It was just extra information that I wasn't trying to read about because I thought it was going to be temporary, that's all. It's alternative rules, and you can only use like a certain restrictive unit list or something like that. Yeah, I'll look through them. They last until that army gets a book, from your understanding. Okay. So you can still do the fun thing, and then when the book comes out, just use the book. Is that it? Okay. Well, now I'm back to thinking that maybe I won't. No, dude, you know, it takes them 3 years to release all the battle tomes. Surely we can go over the Armies of Renown. I just won't do them for the ones that are getting books right away. I think that's a happy middle ground, right? Like if there's a Stormcast or Skaven Army of Renown, then fuck off, because you're getting your battle tome pretty soon. And then whoever the next 2 are. But as long as you're not one of the first 4, sure, you know, we'll look over it. Yeah, maybe the book will just have it still. It's just a different version of it or a different way to do it. Unless content drought, yeah. Regiment of Renown. Cool fit, dogs playing, machines digging, good architecture, a lot of snow. It's just nice. It's just nice. Very few people outside. It's soothing, peaceful, even. I saw a graphic about win rates. I saw a win rate graphic. Somebody posted it in Discord today. It's an Honest Wargamer graphic, because he does these every time they harvest stats, he makes a thing out of them, you know, and does a show. And I guess I can switch over to it. Ahem. I'm switching over. But I'm gonna hit you with a commercial first, so get owned.
Hello there. I'm Mr.
Cream.
AC Penny. When it fits, you feel it.
So big you gotta grin to get it in.
Once you pop,
The cream.
don't stop.
If it doesn't get all over the place, it doesn't belong in your face.
Deliciously hot, dangerously creamy.
The juice is loose.
She wanted to remember the love they shared for
Cream.
Sometimes you feel like a knife.
Stuffed 5 ways.
So my family's looking for beef.
Now, that's what I call
Cream, yeah.
Because I'm good enough, I'm smart enough.
And I am the cream.
Then why do we call it big? Because big things go into it.
at the Men's Warehouse.
You got cream.
I guarantee it.
I guarantee it. Alright, here it is. Enhance. As we can see, we got the 45 to 55% here. Right? And my takeaway for this is it isn't as bad as I thought it was, really. You know? Like, you got 4 things in red, but 2 of these are really cheating. You know? They're exactly on the line of 55%. I think that's cheating. You know? It's whatever. If you're talking 45, which is right here, to 55.1 or whatever, which is right here, there's only 2 armies above the comfort zone where they're trying to have everybody be, right? There's only 2 armies that are too good. One is a little too good at 57, and one is way too good at 64. They're going to see those numbers and increase Flosh by 100 points. Who? Flosh? The Shelf Man? they're going to increase Glutton's points by a lot. And then Ogre Maw tribes will go from here to here. They'll fall back in line, don't worry. I do have a complaint about the propaganda-like deception of this particular graph. I don't know how he does graphs normally, but look down here, okay? This is 40%, and this is 39%. Look at the difference here, right? It's like a millimeter, right? And then up here, 42, 43, it's like 2 millimeters. 43, 44, and then 2% is like 6 feet. Okay. And then coloring the 55s red when that's what the top end is. Okay. All right. Not to scale, but maybe a little, we're doing a little vibes, a little suspicious stuff here, but that's fine. I assume this is 55.001 and this is 57.999 or something like, maybe that's why it's 7 times longer than these other ones, but that's fine. Now it sounds like I'm defending Ogre Maw tribes. I'm not. I just think it's suspicious. But, you know, fine. Alright. Maybe that's how they do it. But, I don't know. I think this isn't as bad as I thought it was. You know, you have 2 armies that are real outliers. And then 2 that are right on the line. Out of like 25. That's really good. Now, what isn't really good is that there are 9 armies that are just drowning below the Goldilocks zone, shall we say. 9 armies being below it that's a lot. That's a lot. That's like 1/3 of the armies. Now, you could say that you remove 14% from here and 2% from here. Sorry, 9%. And disperse it over here, but that's not quite enough either. Remember when Lumineth were not good? Yeah, I do. Yeah. I do remember when Lumineth were not good. I remember when they were really good, too. Blades of Khorne is so low is baffling. Blades of Khorne being 43 down here. Yeah, I think Blades of Khorne is one of the better armies in the game. But these are the numbers. And there's more to it than just a win percentage number on a suspiciously zoomed in graph, right? But yeah. I think Cruel Boys and Blades of Khorne are both probably better than this. Same with Skaven, really. But it's tricky to say better than this, right? Like, what does that mean? What does that exactly mean? I love to see Bone Splitters right here. 51%. Let's go. Good work. Where are Beast of Chaos now? Alright. Up maybe exactly halfway point, sure. New AoS confirms no real changes in rules for Skaven and Stormcast from Index to Battletome. Really? I was about to read the thing. That would be humongously disappointing if that were the case. You feel like Muglotkin are better than 42%? Yeah, you know, I mean, somebody's got to lose, right? Beast are 48. Ironjaw Grief. Flesh Eater Court's 39%. Matt Rose main army, he said. Worst in the game. He took one for the team on that, I guess. You wonder how many of the Night Haunt losses are mirror matches? I would assume that they factored out mirror matches for something like this. Because it's silly. I think it would be silly to show stats that factor in mirror matches when you're comparing the different armies against each other. But I guess I don't know how they arrived at these numbers, so. We still don't know the new rules for the new minis and the new... Yeah, we don't know the new stuff, I suppose. Wasn't it the War Scrolls are the same, but whatever they're calling sub-faction rules are new? We've gotten some vague information about that. There might be just extra sub-factions so that we're back up to 6 or something like that. Unsure. Might as well read the...
With Klondike ice cream bars, you get big servings, big taste, big cream.
Imagine
5 big, moist, delicious ounces of big, hot ice cream. And a coating made with beautiful
milk,
chocolate. So you can
pour
big cream.
like I've never had it.
Klondike, big bar, big cream.
Alright. Sorry, vampires. New edition of Warhammer Age of Sigmar is out, and the fighting is furious on tabletops all around the world. We've seen a horde of Malodorous, ooh, big word, new Skaven and cohort of elite Stormcast Eternals attempting to hold them back. And we got a glimpse. We got basic troop guy on the covers, which I never liked. I don't like that idea. They told the artist to draw that, and so it's not the artist's fault. This is an excellent rendering of a Stormcast, and this is a really good picture of a Skaven. They're both drawn very well, and their poses feel a lot more natural than the older ones did. But the design restriction was put one basic troop on the cover instead of the coolest looking centerpiece, which was a terrible direction from whoever did that, but fine. Like, okay. Can't blame them. Brave being a great browser but not having dark mode. Yeah, but then again, Games Workshop website should have a dark mode, but it doesn't. I mean, I understand them not. They still sell physical books. So, we can't expect their website to not be 20 years behind. Interior art's looking good. I like how the implication, I don't know this story particularly, but the implication I think is that this guy was there for some great war 400 years ago where this is a statue of him and he's remembering it. Cool. Like, some neat little world building stuff. He's got his compatriots in the background there. The great Gnawrenning. There's a gatefold section explaining which parts of the 8 realms are of particular importance to that faction. Cool. All right. We have a map for map enjoyers. It doesn't look like it's not like a great map, but I never really understood the appeal of maps, to be perfectly honest, so the map enjoyers are going to have to tell me if they like it or not. Neat. This is a neat picture. Oh, this guy's jumping and hitting King Broad right there. War for the Living City, the defense of Thydria. Map gang. The Smash Hammer guy smashing Chaos was cooler. It was a more exciting event that was happening, but his pose was awkward. And this is a better drawing. So, I suppose it's whatever you prefer. Do you prefer a higher quality render? Or do you prefer a more exciting scene with some awkward posing? It's really kind of whichever you feel like. This is followed by a deeper section explaining history, heroes, customs, and tactics, written from a more omniscient perspective. Sorry, from a more omniscient perspective, which covers events of great importance. And there's a beast diary, or a bestiary, if you will, which combines art with miniature photography, oozing personality, and iconography, and all sorts of other stuff. Yeah, that's cool. That's nice. I like this picture a lot. This is very nice. I like the lever puller Skaven. We got a backpack one too. This is a great picture. Really like it. More of this stuff, please. Show us the grime of the everyday, right? Big ooze, yeah. Exciting miniature photography. The rules section collects battle traits, battle formations, spell lores, prayer lores, manifestation lores, and war scrolls for every single unit. Probably except the ones they're retiring. But maybe not. They said every single. They said that. Laid out horizontally, but retain all the information. Oh, laid out horizontally. So they can put pictures of the models in the actual war scroll. Okay. I think that's probably a good idea. As long as you can fit everything. Because they really do want to show you the models as much as possible and get you to... You're paging through trying to find some guy, but you don't know his exact name. And you know what he looks like. So, okay. Really just 3 spells still, huh? We don't get the full 6. The edition is just a 3 spell edition. That's a little sad to see. Are they the same? Appear to be the same. Okay. And then are the men the same? Any Stormcast players? Are these noticeably different? Doesn't appear to be. Okay, so it's just that. The admitted copium, remember when we were seeing the new War Scrolls for 4th, I'm like, this is probably copium, but there's so much extra space on these War Scrolls. Surely in the Battle Tome, they'll get the second half of the abilities they should have, you know? But no. They were actually just making room for model pictures. The units will still be kind of boring and only do one thing, really. Very disappointing. Nope, all same. Are they limiting it because you can take all of them? Hard to say. It's hard to say. Maybe they just can't think of 6. Unknown. Alongside this, there are rules for your faction's Spearhead. Yeah, whatever. New armies are renowned, whatever. Actually, not whatever. It might not be temporary, so I guess I have to read this. New armies are renowned give you a new way to play, while regiments of renown will allow you to dabble with army composition tricks. How about a complement of Scryer war machines for your Megan and Nurgle, or a wing of Stormdrake guards for your Luminath Realm Lords? No, doesn't interest me. I would like my guys to be the best thing that I can play, because I chose that army, you know. There's a Path to Glory section still. Gross. Anvil of Apotheosis. Let's go. Hype, actually. Anvil is hype. So there's new armies of renown. Interesting. Rules ref. Is this like a one page, this is what your stuff does? Alright, a little Claw Lord here. They put the stuff in a different place. Now it's here because they made these shorter. It seems they don't say what the things do. That's a choice. That's a choice. Not saying what the rules do on the War Scroll card. Isn't that the point of a War Scroll card? Well, yeah, maybe it's on the back. You won't find points in your battle tomes. These will be available as long as you sign up to the app. You get a QR code. There'll be a comprehensive pack of War Scroll cards containing all your heroes, units, monsters, Spearhead, blah blah. Available to purchase separately. In a smaller format designed to take up less space on the table. I mean, that's real, yeah. Less space on the table, sure. On one side, you'll find your basic stats in Kalawer. And then on the other one, on the reverse, okay, yeah, it was on the reverse, like I thought. It looks like 3 spell lores for Skaven. It is not. It is a spell lore. It is a prayer lore. And then these are just your manifestations. Right. So you 3 spells per lore, unlike, 6 from before. And 3 prayers like the index, unlike 6 before, and so on and so forth. No fun allowed. Although, if you put the points with a QR code, couldn't you just do that with the rules as well? I suppose then no one would buy the book. But I feel like people have been burned on these books long enough not to necessarily want to buy them anyway. But maybe I'm too fatalistic about it. Each battle tome will also be released as a Gamers Edition. Log in, dude. Alright, log in. Gamers Edition. These are smaller softback editions which contain everything in the larger volumes but in a compact form for use on the tabletop. They are packaged with an expanded set of War Scroll cards that cover everything you need to play. Gamers Edition. There's a small sleeve in the back cover to store the cards. It's a complete package. These are designed for players who regularly attend events and tournaments, and they will be released in limited numbers alongside regular books, okay? Neither the Skaven nor Stormcast Eternals will see their core rules change much between Faction Pack and Battle Tomes. Oof. But subsequent books might bring more substantial changes to battle traits and units. We'll let you know more here on Warhammer Community.
Good job,
Will you?
King.
Ormandius thanks to tier 1. Big subs, let's hope you don't get parried. You didn't get parried. No parrying happened. Neither Skaven nor Stormcast will see their core rules change much. But subsequent books might bring more substantial changes to battle traits and units. Do they mean subsequent books might bring Stormcast and Skaven changes? Or do they just mean future battle tomes might change more for different armies? But you guys are locked in, Skaven and Stormcast. I think what this sentence means is, they knew which battle tomes were going to come out early, and so those, whatever faction pack was made for the earliest battle tomes was just done, so they just did that. And so if you're coming out probably in the first 4 or 6 of them, then your faction rules are probably locked in. And if you're coming out later than that, maybe there's room to change if need be. Because They do allow us to hold on to the most pathetic kind of hopium here with the word might. But that's disappointing in any case. Damn, that sucks. Smelly Strangler. Thanks for being a first-time chatter. Love the vids. You thought you would join the stream. Nice. Thanks a lot. Just means we lose the rules for free in the app. You mean the rules in the app are temporary? Like, as soon as the Battle Tome comes out, they actually remove what you used to have access to? Is that how it works? I haven't gotten the app myself yet. But 40K was the same way. That's what they did with 40K. Alright. Alright. That's an awesome way to get me to continue to pirate. Good job. Great work. You know, we have a solution to piracy. John Gabriel Gaben once said, piracy is a platform problem. It's a delivery issue. As soon as you make it basically just as easy to buy something as it is to steal it, most people will buy it, unless you're absurdly overpriced. Or you could be absurdly overpriced and make it harder. Alright? Wahapedia it is. What, you don't negotiate with people who take your rules hostage, all the Warhammer Plus value? I haven't... There was... Warhammer Plus value. Dude, when they announced Warhammer Plus, I don't think the word value entered into my frontal lobe for even a moment. I'm like, what a ripoff. I'm sure somebody likes it, but yeah, yeesh. Well, I guess I don't have to ever get the app. I was going to maybe do it, but if that's how they're going to do it, then no thanks. We looked at this before, but I'll just show it on screen so that the thumbnail updates on Twitch. Because that's how the professional streamers do it. Look at this dude. We saw this Wednesday. It was so sick. Guy looks great. Really like the chain, actually. Cool looking axe. The bird looks cool. I like the little hood it's got. Little Falconeer's hood. Kinda. Or an executioner. A Falconcutioner hood. I just think it looks neat. I like this thing. Great work. Looks awesome. Big fan. Double smokestacks. Fuck the ozone layer. Do you think the Combat Patrol magazine is worth? I don't know what that is, but it's a magazine on, like, it's like a physical magazine. If that's what it is, then no. And here's the bird. He's got alternative stuff. Sweet. Oh, cool. There's like a skull head here. I didn't see that before. All these little things, very nice. And they're not printed into it, so you get the freehand if you want to. I appreciate that. I don't like it when they rubber stamp in huge, thick, fake runes into the scrolls. So I like that they haven't done that here. And then there's a kind of an awkward pose and a boring face. But I do like the type of weapon. This guy's just a straight downgrade in a lot of ways from the other one. Yeah, these heads are strictly inferior to the other one, as is the weapon. And really the pose, I think. Alright. And we got Lord Celestin, who looks dumb. And yeah, there really isn't a good head option here. They're all bad. We gotta find a new head for all three of these. And the pose is a little weird. Also, what are you holding on to here? Did they Photoshop the weapon out of their hand? What's this? What are they holding on to? Are they just like power fisting? The two weapons don't look great. I think the hammer and shield is probably the better of those, I guess. I don't like it. I really don't like it at all. As much as I really did like this guy, I really don't like this guy. And then the Lord Relictor. Well, okay. It does the thing that I don't like, which, as you can see on the back here, the giant rubber stamp, thick, engraved fake runes, robbing me of the opportunity to put my own freehand runes on it. I don't like it when they do that. And they didn't do it up here, and so I thought, oh, maybe they did down here, I guess. They didn't do it on the other guy, and they don't do it on these, but they did do it on the back one, so I don't like that, but I guess that's kind of a nitpick. Everything else is so sick that he's still like, he's still super good. And you can cover these up with, like, get some liquid green stuff on your thumb and just cover it, or whatever, sprue goo, yeah, just stuff. You can fill those in and make them flush pretty reasonably. So it's not the worst. He's awesome, and he's carrying a big old skeleton of a saint or something. He's got his own skeleton in his own backpack there, which is awesome. It's got one gemstone eye, a little actually there's a lot of the red gem. They're putting that gem on the hammer. They're putting they're putting little red gems all over the place. I wonder what that means. Right here in between the twin-tailed comet symbol. We're getting a notable red gemstone theme across the new Stormcast. I wonder what the significance of that is. Maybe it's just oh yeah, up here too. Maybe it's just a doohickey they put onto things and it's not supposed to mean anything, but it got me thinking about it a little bit in any case. Yeah, it was Bring Your Skeleton to Work Day. So, man, he did it. Anyway, this guy's so sick. You gotta use the Dr. Doom over here, for sure. What a great looking model. Huge plus. And then Lord Terminos, who is very busy, but also huge, with just a lot of shit going on. I like him. He looks good. As always, the head, well, I shouldn't say as always, because this head's sick, but yeah. Not in love with the head, and not really in love with the helmet either. Yet another head swap, but everything else looks very good. His sword is stupidly big, which is funny. I like his Reclusian's steel double face mask thing here. That's a very large hourglass. Dolores, that's his original body he's carrying. Yeah, he's bringing his own skeleton to work, which is awesome. I really do like that. You got the squid stuff. This guy looks great. You know, I like his preposterously huge sword and everything, but this axe is speaking to me. That's a big fucking axe. And I like his fluffy cape too. You gotta have some fluffy capes. Cape game. Also, look at... Can you see it? Did you see it? Look at the way this is painted. It looks like the sand is sloshing around in the bottom. Isn't that so good? Attention to detail. And we got some Reclusians who look great. And the Funny Men. The Funny Men are done up in kind of a like a Super Nintendo. They have a little bit of a just a little guy kind of silliness to them, which I don't know if I'm fully on board for. I don't know if it's their proportions or what, but they have a little bit of like a I'm just a silly little guy kind of thing. It's supposed to be a dynamic, you know, such a difference between the Stormcast, though. And a return of the Star Soul Maces from before. I wonder if they'll function the same. Because the Star Soul Maces of before were great. They were awesome. You just rolled a d3 if they hit. Nowadays, I suppose they'll probably do the shit d3 thing. These dudes, they all have capes. They're important enough for cape gaming. Nice axes. Very cool weapons. Nice shields. I don't know why they have the... I guess I don't know why they have the little cutouts in the shields. That would make some kind of sense if they were supposed to line up and they had like a pike or something. It would make some kind of sense, right? But I'm not sure why they have them here. I mean, it looks fine. It's not a big deal. Anyway, Star Soul Macers. And then the Stormstrike Paladers. I don't like the bird horses. Never did. They look a lot better than the older ones, obviously. Really wonderful flowing robes and stuff on them. These dudes riding it don't... I mean, they look okay. Kind of just have swords and stuff. They're just kind of guys. Stormstrike Paladers, I'm not a fan. But you give them a lance and I'm in. I do like that. That's a fine looking lance. Good work. Nice and septangular. The mighty Stormhorn is stupid. Doot cast. That is dumb. And then the portal. You are now cursed with this massive fucking terrain feature. You gotta lug to every event. Have fun. Sorry. Sorry it had to be like this. They have the cutouts on their shield to catch the enemy weapon, probably. Catch the enemy weapon. The shield blocks the enemy weapon. If you're talking about like an axe swinging and it catches like the handle of the axe, it would like hit them. Hold it in place, maybe? Okay. I don't think it's a big enough deal that I don't like it. I just wondered what it was for, I guess. It's not really a sticking point, I wouldn't say. The airport security scatter. You can have dragons or bird horses. You guess you'll take the dragons, thanks. Yeah, I mean, okay. And then this thing. I forgot about this thing. This thing is so bad. And so was the roadmap itself. This isn't just like the graphic designer. It's not necessarily their fault, although it is. This thing is fucked up, actually. And it makes a lot of no sense looking at it. But they didn't give the person anything to say. The copy they gave them was nothing. This whole graphic can be summarized. Slaves to Darkness are next. That's it. Slaves to Darkness are next. And yes, Iron Jaws and Gloomspite are getting spearheads. finally. IJ for the first time, and Gits for probably an alternative collection of guys in their 3 armies glued together. So I guess that's information too. Ironjaw Spearhead, Gloomspite Spearhead, Slaves to Darkness next. Every other word, picture, and empty space on here is a waste of time. It's like writing an essay for school and using 25 font quadruple spaced. It's nothing. Actually sort of embarrassing, and no dates, no nothing. Trash. Funny how we get a whole edition dedicated to orcs and then we get another focus on them and then don't get any ogre support. Yeah, that's what it is. Are we getting a HeyWoah roadmap? Nope. But I don't promise one. My roadmaps are next week I'll be doing the following streams. And then I tell you the day and the time. And I usually don't cancel them. And that's the best you can get out of me sometimes. All factions in 2025. I don't know if they mean that. By all factions, what do you mean? Spearhead all factions? Do you mean every faction gets a battle tome this year, so they're releasing like 5 of them every other month? What is it? What do you mean by that? Also, you read left to right because it's English, right? And so we got roadmap 2025 so far, all factions, okay. New edition, Spearhead, and you get to the bottom and you realize they're connected. Your eye moves like this, and then you realize they're connected. So what you were supposed to do, I guess, is the roadmap, you're supposed to go top to bottom and then follow the yellow brick road over and then move up. And 2025 is the end, right? It's the horseshoe. What a weird thing. HeyWoah roadmap. More streams, maybe more, maybe less streams. Usually more. Sometimes less. It's also in the bottom left, weirdly. And yeah, I guess so. And beyond, more to come in 2025. And then also 2025. This is my passion. Army boxes and spearheads. They have a little picture of all the Grand Alliances. Those still exist. We're good. Get Spearhead with Mangler Squig now that he's bad. What do you mean now? Does this mean we get all factions in 2025 as in like from now until 2020, like December 2025 is just every battle tome coming out? It's 2 battle tomes every month for the whole year. They've done something like that almost before where they just blasted them out. They might be doing that. It's not beyond the possibility. They're going to release every faction in 2025. Yeah, 100% of them. The worst roadmap was Heresy. It said you'll get tanks. The tanks that you knew you were getting before. Hey, all right. Yeah, so this was a bad one. The Skaven one was good because it showed only bangers. Everything was awesome. And then they interviewed the designer guys. And then they fucked off. And it was like a 15-minute show. They're like, look at all this stuff. It's all amazing. It's a lot of stuff. We have Matt Rose on the couch. How awesome is the new Skaven? And then he's like, so awesome. All right. That's it. Peace out. And then the Nova Open was, here's 3 Stormcast units. Everybody else, including AoS, who was looking for a roadmap, you basically got clickbaited. And the talks were very awkward. Anyway, see ya. Like, if you tuned into that, they had the Warhammer 40k logo on the Nova reveal. They had the logo on it. Let's see. It's like a recap of it. I want that. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Nope, that's another one. There we go. This one. Oh, this one isn't going to be the one from Twitter that had... Okay, anyway. They had all the logos for the things they were going to show. And the 40k logo was on it. And you watched the preview, and it was nothing. Like, you got clickbaited by the company. Your Chorf rumor was a Blood Bowl team. I hope that's not true for their sake. Like, Chorf posting is incessant and really annoying as somebody who manages a Discord and stuff. But it would be really painful for those poor people if the Chorf rumor was literally only Blood Bowl and that's it. They aren't actually getting anything for any of the games. I'd feel sorry for him in a certain sense. James Workshop should have descended from the heavens to end the stream. Apparently it was worse for the people at Nova. They did mention that AoS and Blood Bowl reveals with roadmaps for the other games. When are we getting some new man-eaters? Well, the old ones are probably going away. I hope we get the AoSified man-eaters. That'd be kind of cool. I don't want them, but I think Gutbuster players would be kind of excited about something like that. And you know, give them something. Not everything has to be for me, right? As a Chorf enjoyer, you'll take what you can get. Alright, fair enough. And because it's Blood Bowl, they did look a whole lot like fantasy, right? They didn't do an updated thing. It wasn't like a reimagining. It was just very exactly what they're supposed to look like. For better or worse. Vince was mad. Yeah, after my reveal stream, I clicked on, because he was live from Nova, in a room with, I think, Strength Hammer and that one dude that he makes games with, you know, the popular YouTube man, right? And he was like in the middle of a giant diatribe about how shit that thing was that was shit. But it was shit. He was right. And so it was good fun. Also, the picture you want is on row 6 of the noon of all the news, you believe? Okay, so row 6 of all the news. Dude, whatever. I hate this site. The site fucking sucks. It still has this trailer. Doesn't even have a dark mode. It's fine, it's fine. For Old World, we learned more about what is next from the previews on the site the next 2 days than Nova. Can't stop me from playing Chorf's Dark Oath. Yeah, sure, do whatever you want. 1 hour Vince rant. I should watch it back. Anyway, I'm going to get up and stretch my legs a little bit. I'm going to have one hot chip. Go ahead and find yourselves one hot chip. I'll BRB. And we'll do some more content. Because the news wasn't much news. It really wasn't. Okay. That's the outro. Ahem. Alright. Apologia. We back. I had one hot chip. Pretty nice. Not two, but one was pretty good. Alright, said we'd do Khorne. It's time to do Khorne. And this one's going to be kind of fun. I found Khorne to be pretty good. The stats say otherwise, but maybe that's true. They kept Blood Tithe. Start the battle with 0, earn 1 each time a unit is destroyed, but not a faction terrain and not a manifestation. Reaction: opponent declared a spell ability, Spell Eater Curse. You can only use this ability if you have not used any Blood Tithe this turn. Cost 2, spells unbound. This used to be bread and butter, you just used it all the time, and it used to not actually say unbound, and so it could unbind stuff that couldn't normally be unbound. What I'm trying to say is it used to be cool. It's still good to counter spells, obviously, right? But Murderlust is so ridiculous that you really do want to be doing that thing. Any move in phase, Slaughter Triumphant. Only use this ability if you have not used any Blood Tithe. Spend 8, pick 1, add 1 attacks characteristic melee weapons used by friendly Blades of Khorne units for the rest of the entire battle. Let's go. Huge. Pick a friendly non-unique Bloodthirster. Why not? I guess because it has to set up a replacement, and if it's unique, then the guy's just dead, right? So, hey, Scarbrand BTFO. Set up an identical replacement, 9 from all enemies. Murderlust, any move in phase. You can only use this ability if you've not used blah blah. Spend 1 Blood Tithe point. Crazy cheap. And pick a friendly Blades of Khorne unit that is not in combat, and it can move 3, and it can move into combat. That last sentence is bullshit. I say, as the army that loses if I don't get a charge. That shit's annoying. Combined with redeploy, holy. Really, really good. Kind of nice with it. And then any hero phase, Brass Skull Meteor. You spend 4, roll 8 dice for each 3-up, inflict immortal damage on the target. Enemy unit that is visible to a friendly Blades of Khorne hero to be the target.
Dylan! You son of a bitch.
Plebit. It's a plebit raid. Damn, well, I happen to be wearing just the right hat for it. Damn, I happened to miss your stream today. Very sad. Big Raider. 46 big Raiders. What's the thing? Show us your microwave and put your Warhammer figures in it. I do have a microwave, contrary to popular belief. I was talking to my chat earlier, and I don't have a toaster, and I don't have a coffee maker, but I do have a microwave. Okay, so I haven't put a Warhammer figure in the microwave, but I did use a blowtorch to melt a few pieces because I needed to heat it up so that I could bend it. I was doing something with it. Your hat is so cool, HeyWoah. Looking kind of big. What was your stream today, if I could ask? It wasn't more Shenmue, I don't believe. If it was, I missed a good one. Do they melt? Yes, well, it's just plastic, so yeah, it melts like normal plastic. You can heat it up for a little bit, it becomes more malleable, and then if you keep going, it'll start to melt and blacken and stuff like that. It's plastic. We're playing America's Next Top Model for the Wii. It was a fever dream. I remember the first, I wouldn't say half, but I remember the first part of that. I found the people like the, how do I even describe this? I found the personalities of all of the characters in that game, including the main character, to be kind of offensive. Like, just horrible people. In a fun way. Yeah, don't breathe plastic fumes in. Don't do that, I should say. You tucked in Bellacor's wings with your air fryer? With your air fryer. We learned the MC wasn't just voiced by Nancy Drew, but Nancy Drew directed the game. Oh. Damn. Don't let her near a director chair again. It's a very bad game. You love it. Yeah. Well, that's the goal. That's the entire stated goal. That's the point. That's just the point. These games are hella bad, but bad can also be entertaining. I mean, it's kind of the same thing with Shenmue. Although with Shenmue, I'm kind of zen about it. I enter a state when I'm watching Shenmue. Like, because it's not entertaining, but it's so not entertaining that it becomes entertaining. It's like a speedometer. It rolls around. I liked the carrying books. I like carrying books a lot more than I like the forklift as a viewer. I appreciate the book walking. The pile stacking. I like that a lot more than the certification process. I don't know as a player which one you like more. They both seem pretty annoying, but I like the book stacking. However, I could feel the frustration with the leaf catching. And just imagining how the controls were for that section. Very entertaining. It helps you learn the wood. Yeah, the wood A. That really brings out the piles. Damn that game. Anyway, welcome. If any of my viewers don't know, Amazing Plibbit. She plays some of the worst games ever made on purpose. And that's actually pretty funny. We're going over the Khorne book right now. The Khorne Battle Tome. It's basically America's Next Top Model. Just male models, really. The wideness. The bigness. The blades. Anyway, we're just talking about a whole bunch of like game mechanics for Age of Sigmar. You might not know. You hope wargaming is going well. You told everyone to be ready to open their minds to the world of Warhammer. I mean, it's really getting into the weeds of it. But anyway, I appreciate showing up anyway. Where were we? We were just talking about the battle traits, mechanics of it. And so the final one is Heads Must Roll. You can use this for 6 in a combat phase, and you add +1 rend, which is a good bonus. But 6 is a lot. There was this game that the control scheme was so ass, my brother and I returned the rental, and like an hour later, it was The Adventures of Cookie and Cream for PS2. The Adventures of Cookie and Cream, huh? I can't believe that game has bad controls. Who would have guessed? So for a recap of Khorne battle traits, Spell Eater Curse is pretty good. Murder Lust is the best. And the cheapest. Who knew? The other stuff you will sometimes use, maybe. But at least in my games against it, it was all about the murder lust. Really strong. Moving into combat, ridiculous. Very cheap. Your mind is so open to Warhammer Fantasy, you got a Marathi tattoo on your whole upper left arm. Post it in the Discord if you wish. Big Cream on YouTube? Yeah, exactly. This man has a snake sleeve. Not bad. Battle formations, I can't remember what these do, so I'm going to have to be reviewing them while we're reviewing them together. Once per turn army as a reaction. You declared a fight ability with a demon. Pick a friendly bloodbound unit that has not used fight within 12. You can pull them in, but they don't get anything special out of the deal. This is sort of like the old Council of Blood in a certain way, the old battalion. Strength through slaughter. Strength through S laughter. Friendly non-monster BOK demon uses a fight. It has ward 5 for the rest of the turn. Cool, ward 5's good. But your opponent gets to fight first on their turn, though. That makes that a little worse. Has to be non-monster, but a demon. That makes that a lot worse. Bloodbound is mortals. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. They all have blood in the name. It's hard to keep track. Apologies. Demons let mortals fight as long as they're close to them. Brass Stampede. Frank talks about this a lot, but I haven't seen it on the table, and I don't know what he's trying to do with it. If the unmodified charge roll for it is lucky, it has strikes first. That's kind of whatever, and random. I guess it's really good on the opponent turn if you get really lucky and also roll kinda hot. Okay. Well, fair enough. Tireless Conquerors. Add 1 hit rolls for combat attacks made by bloodbound units that target an enemy unit that is contesting an objective you do not control. And that would be the mortals, right? Okay. Don't like Brass Stampede. If you're... I suppose if you're spamming bloodletters, you could give them a 5-up ward. That's kind of neat. They have a 6-up ward anyway, right? And sort of no save, but do a lot of mortals. Unless I need to check their thing. Having someone fight right after you is like okay. And then +1 to hit seems just good. Is Cetra in AoS at all? No, in the end times they wrote a send-off for him. You know, I don't serve. He walked into the warp and was never seen again, as far as I recall. I never played Warhammer Fantasy. But I'm told that he kind of walked off into the sunset, and that was it. He was the Egypt the Army guy. That's what I know him from. Egypt the Army guy. But yeah, I started the game with Age of Sigmar, so I don't know any of the... I don't really know much of the Warhammer Fantasy stuff from, what would it be, 10 years ago now. Heroic traits. Firebrand. If this unit is not a priest, it becomes one. That's good. If this unit is picked to be the target of the murder lust ability, you can move 6 instead of 3. This is the one that I've played against the most. And it's really, really good. It sort of single-handedly defeated me. But so did the damage. And you could begin the game with a 1 blood tithe point, which is kind of neat because then you can murder lust right away. Like on your opponent's turn if they go first. if you want to do that. Murder Lusting 6 is really good with a Bloodthirster, though. If by sunset you mean unending hordes of chaos to laughter them, yeah. Artifacts power. Agath, Argath, the King of Blades. Pick an enemy hero in combat with this unit. World rolls cannot be made. Nah. Collar of Contempt. This unit can unbind. That's good. Each time it does D3 to the caster. Alright. And Halo of Blood. Ignore negative modifiers to its control score and to hit rolls. And wound rolls. Alright, I've only ever played against Halo of Blood. Collar seems pretty good too, like getting another unbinder. I don't know how many unbinders we'll end up having here in Khorne. But yeah, Relentless Hunter. Shit on me, that's for sure. And Halo of Blood as well. I distinctly recall him using this because I was playing with a Frost Sword on Stonehorn, and I actually got the Frost Spear. I got in a situation where the Frost Spear was, for the first time ever, going to actually do something and matter. Because it's a really bad ability that never matters. And it didn't last edition either. And I finally got in a situation it was almost going to matter. I dealt damage to a Bloodthirster. And so he was just about to be at -1 to hit. But then this ignored it. And so I'm like, okay. You got your manifestations, they're alright, I guess. And then the prayer lore. Unholy Flames for 5. That's a lot. Pick a visible friendly Bladescorn unit wholly within 12. Add 1 to the rend characteristic of the target's melee weapons for the rest of the turn. That's great. In addition, if the chanting roll was 10, add 1 to wound rolls as well. Awesome. 5 is really hard, obviously. You gotta charge it up. For sure. But I like getting more rend in this army. More rend sounds pretty good. Witchbane Curse for 4. Pick a visible enemy wizard within 18. -1 from their power level to a minimum of 0. You can actually turn off their ability to use spells. Because it is on your hero phase, right? So you can target a wizard 1 and then do that before they get the opportunity to unleash spell, which might shut it off. It was 8, inflict 3 mortal damage on the target. Yeah, whatever. Blood Bowl. Pick a visible enemy within 18. Number of dice equal to the number of models in the target unit. 5 up mortal. Okay. In addition, if the chanting roll was 8, -1 from wound rolls for the target. Okay. A little horde breaker. We are seeing some hordes creep their way back into Age of Sigmar. So, hey, alright. Overall, your prayers are really expensive, but with good effect. Randomly okay, maybe, sometimes. Could, like, totally ruin someone, maybe. But it won't do anything on the opponent's turn. You can't unleash prayer this one, because your opponent is going to be finished casting all their spells by the time you get a chance to do a thing. And then we got a little horde breaker deal. Alright, prayers are okay. And then we got Scar Borand. There he is with a big smile. The Croc Man. The guy who would be really good, except Khorne trolled him so hard that he can't even fly in the game. He has a 5-up ward. He's a War Master, so he has to be your general. Unfortunately, War Master is just a straight downside in 4th. It used to be a good thing. Now it's just a bad thing. 16-4-8. A decent control score. He's got Slaughter and Carnage. Crit Mortal on an 8 damage weapon is fucking hilarious. Well, his unit has 10 or more damage points if it did not use a fight ability last turn, or if it is the first turn of the battle. His Slaughter has 2 attacks, which is alright. That's the, what is it called? Incandescent with Rage. The ability it used to have in 3 was that one, except it was much, much, much better than this. Very watered down. Very watered down. This man always rolls 36 charges. That's great. You love to see it. Since he is very slow and doesn't fly, you need something to give you some reach, right? And then, once return army, any combat phase, roar of total carnage. 3 dice or a number of dice equal to the number of damage points this unit has. For each 4-up, inflict 1. Okay, so 3 dice. You do 1 or 2 mortals, whatever. Or dice equal to the number of damage points it has. So perhaps, you know, you have 15 and you're on 1 life left, and then suddenly you're doing a lot. Interesting. Any combat phase. You got a 5-up ward at least. I forgot to open up the points document. Pardon me. Oziark Boner Eepers. They're Eepin. Alright, where's Blades of Khorne? There we go. I imagine he's going to be like 400 something. I'm wrong. He's a turtle. He's over 1 turtle unit. 510. He's 10 points more expensive than Turda. And he's your War Master, and he can only have demons. Even though he's a War Master. Gross. Oh, all of your Bloodthirsters are like that. That's kind of awkward. Ahem. Yeah, 500's a lot. $500's a lot. Alright, now we got the Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster. We got a bunch of different types of Bloodthirsters here. There's 3. Daniel Jackson on YouTube, thanks for being a HeyWoah enjoyer. Appreciate it. Thanks for signing up. Got Hellfire Breath, 2d6 attacks, 2s and 3s, 1/1, shoot in combat. 16 4-up 12 with a 5-up ward. It's actually just a Stonehorn, right? 16 12 4-up 5-up. Except that's what Bloodthirsters are now. Mighty Axe of Khorne, 6 attacks, 3s and 2s, 2/4, and a hero. I feel like they don't, I don't know, having them happen in the game. They have so few attacks. And there's no, like, secondary attacks. They're just, you roll some dice, and then there's no second profile. It's just either a whole bunch of shit happens, or it's okay. It's swingy. Now, your profile isn't swingy, obviously, because you get this to 2 if you want it. And so it's just going on 2s, but with so few, it's weird. Pick up to 3 other visible, friendly, non-unique Bloodthirsters to be the target, once per turn in any combat phase. +1 attacks. 3 other visible, friendly, non-unique Bloodthirsters, okay? Can't do that to Scarbrand. Man costs 510, let him do it. Pick an enemy hero in combat with it. Roll 8 dice each, so 4 mortals. Okay. Yeah, if he's in combat, that's with a hero. That's pretty good. If that ends up happening, it's more likely for that to happen than normal, on account of the lust. And then Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage. Oh, I should probably look up what the Wrath of Khorne costs. 420. Dank memes. Dank meme number. Insensate Rage 16 12 4 5 3 2 2 5. Anti-infantry. Each time you crit, every enemy unit within 8 takes D3. This happened in a few games I saw. It happens more often than you might think, but I still wouldn't count on it, but it's still funny when it does. Shattering charge. D3 to up. Alright, yeah, it's the bad D3. If the target is infantry, an additional 3, that's kind of cool. Big charges. I imagine all of these are pretty close in points, right? Yeah, 470. Oh. That's not pretty close. That's approximately 50 points different, according to my quick maths. Okay. I was about to say he's better, but I guess they detected that. And then Unfettered Fury. He's got the Lash. Also a shooting combat. Beckon the Hunt. Pick a friendly, non-unique Blades of Khorne demon, which could be you. Rest of the turn add 1 to the number of... Yeah, 3d6 charge, and himself. I like this one. Unfortunately, it's anti-monster, which isn't a good thing to have right now. But I like him being able to give himself 3d6 charges. Ensnaring Lash. Pick an enemy monster? Oh no, maybe I don't like him, because now he has all these anti-monster things. Well, he does kind of smack monsters around with this ability. That's true. And I like 3d6 charges, I just do. It's a great ability to have. 440. Yeah, that being said, if you are a Bloodthirster who has a shoot in combat ranged ability, a few attacks, 3d6 to charge, and then yeah, you have anti-monster stuff that could have been better or have a better target. Not like having a ribbon ability, the only unit on a Bloodthirster is, yeah. It just means he could have been better, that's all, right? And then there's Karnak, the funny dog. The 3-headed funny dog. Who has Savage Maws and Gore Slick Claws. Pick an enemy hero to be this unit's quarry. You can pick a hero in reserve. First of the pack. Well, this unit is wholly within 12 of a friendly Fleshhounds unit. Add 2 to charge rolls for this unit. In addition, while any friendly Fleshhounds are wholly within 12. Oh, that's how you ignore the beast ability. That's how you get rid of the beast. Cool. This unit's quarry. Move this phase, this unit can move up to 8. It cannot move into combat during any part of that move, but must end it closer to the quarry. Alright. He is useless and bad, unless I'm missing something. Doesn't matter what he costs. Fleshhound's bad, Karnak bad, does nothing. Skull Taker. He really takes the skulls. This guy really brings the piles out. The Slayer Sword, anti-hero crit. Pick an enemy hero in combat with this unit to be the target. For this turn, while this unit is combat, this unit has strike first, but all combat attacks have to target the hero. Sure, okay. So he's a 5-inch move guy who wants to duel heroes. Good luck with that. Each time you kill a hero, you get double blood tithes. Nope. Fleshhounds. Now, they don't have to have Beast if you take the other guy, but I don't want to. Move 8. Anti-wizard plus 1 rend. They can no longer unbind, which was why they used to be good. Move 8, though. You can do some BTs with that. I don't know what your BT unit is. 110, okay. Yeah. BT unit. And then there's the Blute Master. He is a priest. Oh, nice. The blood must flow. You declared a fight ability. Pick a friendly blood letters that is not used to fight. If you do so, subtract 1 from ward rolls for damage points inflicted by each of those fight abilities. That's kind of nice. If you're in a Bloodthirster army, you might actually try to play this guy, maybe. He is a priest. It is actually tricky and annoying to get both the unit and the hero that's trying to follow him around into the same combat. It's a little awkward sometimes. But this is a good ability, and he's a priest. So if you're in Bloodthirsters, or Blood Letters, I'm sorry, just everything in this book has the word blood in it. Blood Letters. If you're doing that, then maybe. What do you cost, guy? What do you cost, Blood Master Herald of Khorne? 150. That's maybe a little more than I wanted to pay, but fine. Chat, tell me what to think. Is this army any good? Win percentage statistically, no. In my experience, yeah, it's alright. Yeah, it's alright. It's got a real good ability called Murderlust. Does a shitload of damage. The Blades of Khorne army finally does a shitload of damage, which is basically all they ever wanted to do. Forever. And now you got a shitload of damage, so if that's what you were waiting for to get into Khorne, because their damage is historically not great, ever. Now it is. And you'd think it would be. And it's one of the few books you can build in a few different ways, I think. Skullmaster Herald of Khorne. He's riding the thing. If this unit charged, you do a bad impact hit. Once per battle army, any charge phase. Pick a friendly Blood Crushers unit. Rest of the turn, weapons used by this unit and the target have charge +1 damage. Big hit. Skullmaster, huh? The Master of Skulls. 190, okay. And then we got Blood Letters. The surprised Pikachu ass Blood Letter. These guys always reminded me of the goblins from Diablo 2. Around the Tree of Infuses. Or actually, that would be around the stones. Not the Tree of Infuses. Not the Tree of Infuses. Guarded by Treehead Woodfist, the super unique. And his 4 compatriots. I mean, the stones. Guarded by Rakanichu and all of the little goblin friends. And he's always lightning enhanced. Better open that portal. Anyway, what did they do? They got a Hellblade. They got a... Was this a PS3 game? Am I remembering it right? Or was it a PS4 game, Hellblade? 23311 Crypt Mortal. You get 10 of them. You could get 20 of them. So you have 40 attacks with Crypt Mortal. Stopped listening there. It's great. And if it's in combat, you can return slain models to the unit. Hey, not bad. You could play them. You could do the Bloodletter thing. They do a bunch of mortal wounds. That's great. There's a million of them. They kind of regenerate. Fun. These guys were good in like first edition, and then they were mostly bad forever, and now they're, I think, playable. I don't know how good they are, but it seems like you could do some stuff with those stats. Imagine all the awesome Demon Core infantry resculpts they could do in the modern age, yeah. Get in line. A lot of armies have stuff like that. But also, yeah, probably. And then Blood Crushers. These don't look good. I mean, the other guys didn't look good either, but these don't look good. Anti-infantry, still crit mortal, 2 attacks a model, but now only 3 models in the unit. I'm not. And then they have the bad impact hit. 3 for 200. Well, you get 3 for 200 instead of 2 for 200 like Mornfang. And that comes with 15 health. 8-inch move, 4-up save, 6-up ward. No, I don't think so. It doesn't immediately appear to be exciting to me. Skull Cannon, the thing that was good for 2 weeks by accident. Burning Skulls, 4 attacks, 4s and 3s, 1d3 shoot in combat. 4 Hellblades with crit mortal. If any enemy units are slain by a fight ability used by this unit. A fight ability? That, well, maybe if they have 1 wound, sure. This unit can immediately shoot as if it were your shooting phase. Fire the cannon. If any damage points are allocated to an enemy unit by a shoot ability used by this unit, subtract 3 from the control score. Yeah. Okay. 150. 150. 180. I was closer than I thought I would be. It's cheaper than I thought they would have made it. And then the Blood Throne, which is a priest. Okay. So you got the roll of 4-up, bring back 10 Bloodletters ability. Well, that's a good ability to have if you're in a Bloodletters army. Blood Throne, huh? $210. Or you could take just 10 more Bloodletters, though. And that's kind of like reanimating a dead unit of Bloodletters, except you get to start with them. I guess he's a priest, I suppose. Like, that's something. Being a hero is bad, though. Like, you don't want to have to take another hero. You want to use the best heroes. Claws of Karnak. Oh yeah, the dog boys. The cosplayers. In the deployment phase, you can use a normal move, which is good for turn 1 battle tactics if you're forced to go first, I guess. Pack Hunter. Well, this unit is wholly within 12 of a friendly Fleshhound's unit. It crits on a 5-up instead of a 6. And then Realmgate Ritualist. This was the Khorne War clan that really, really missed. That hard missed. Like, everything looks dumb. This symbol is cool, I guess, at the top of the staff. But, yeah. Don't do this anymore. They're experimenting, but don't do that. Mighty Lord of Khorne. about to get a new model guy, probably. This is the generic version of Khorne's Coolio. Axe of Khorne, Fleshhounds, Blood Dark Claws. Blood Dark Claws. I had to read that one a second time. Anti-Wizard. Add 1 to charge rolls friendly bloodbound infantry units while they're wholly within 12. Okay. Big friendly gore chosen unit. And you have strike first. Your combat phase only, though. I want strike first on my opponent's turn, not mine. Mighty Lord of Khorne. Simply useless. Lord of Khorne on Jugs. Just Hero Cav. Gore chosen are mortal heroes, yeah. No more Coolio. After the Nova show, you're not sure how many more Warcry Underworld warbands we're going to get. I hope it's none. But, this guy wasn't that. He was, like a hero in proper AoS. And featured prominently in the Realmgate Wars against Vandus Hammerhand. And he had the most badass fucking bad guy speech ever to him in their most recent conflict. And it was awesome. And so now I like him. Look forward to seeing his new model. Yeah, he was the very first starting box hero for Khorne. Lord of Khorne on Juggernaut. If it charged, you do the bad type of impact hit. If this unit charged for the rest of the turn, the following effects apply to all friendly Blades of Khorne cavalry units while they're wholly within 18. Big range. +1 charge rolls, you can reroll charge rolls. Okay, kind of nice. Still wouldn't play him, I don't think. But kind of nice. Blood Secretor. Reroll the mortal roll, not the charge roll. Oh, it's the crushing. Okay. Diabletus. I was skimming. I caught myself skimming. You were right. It is the, you can reroll the shitty impact, not the charge roll. Okay. Alright. So he is trash. Never mind, he's not even close to good. Got it. Blood Secretor. Look at this fucking dude. The stupidity of it. The man they have refused to sell separately. Once per battle army, any combat phase. Add 1 attacks characteristic of melee weapons by mortal units. If friendly bloodbound unit would use rally, you can make 3 additional rally rolls at d6. All the Khorne players I've talked to are actually happy that this guy sucks now. Well, it's not that he sucks. It's just his normal thing is only a once per game instead of always. They're like, they don't want to have to play this taxman. They're like, finally, we can just play something else. I don't know if that's the sentiment from all Khorne players, but it's the ones that have been talking to me about it. Anyway, good riddance. You look kind of stupid. They never sold you separately. He was partially responsible for some of the most annoying, tedious Venn diagrams of murder gameplay. Rest in piss. Scar Bloodwrath. This guy looks so stupid. He looks so dumb. Murderous Paragon. This unit is in combat. Add 1 to the tax characteristic melee weapons used by friendly Wrathmongelers while they are wholly within 12 of this unit. Slaughterborn. This unit can use this ability if it has been destroyed. 2d6, 8 up, setup replacement. If you cost actual nothing and you're a free hero, maybe. Scar Bloodwrath. You you're pretty expensive, and you're not a free hero. So that is 2 strikes, you're out. Nope. HeyWoah, a streamer changed late AF raid message IG. Pardon? Yeah, Bloodsecrator is a free drop, you're right, Diabolus. But once a game, mortal only? Nah. No thanks. I appreciate that it doesn't have a range. That's very nice. But no thanks. They were AFK watching a different streamer. Oh, okay, okay. Hey, welcome. In that case. Welcome to Khorne. Slaughter Priest. This is the second best model. My man is Big Priestin, Wide Priest Gaming. Once per turn army, you can sacrifice on a 2-up, you get a Blood Tithe point, big. And Scorn of Sorcery. You can unbind as if you were a wizard. Nice. Slaughter Priest is great. I like him. We got Skull Grinder. I mean, I should look up his price, I guess, but I just like him. I just like him. Yeah, 160 is a lot for a Slaughter Priest, though. 160 is expensive. Why are you that expensive? Because you can unbind, which is good, and because you can farm Blood Tithe, which is also good. Also, you're like 7'5". I guess. Yeah, you know, that's probably worth it. But 160 feels a little high. But he's good, and I'd probably play one. And we got the dude who Frank likes, but unfortunately, he's always, like, really, really bad. And so Frank is just always sad about it. Pyre on YouTube. HeyWoah, judges ability quality the way I used to judge magic items in D&D 3.5. Oh, it works once per day. Is it earth-shattering? No. Trash. Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, in D&D, if it's a magic item, that's fine. You got a whole bucket of them. You got a backpack filled with magic items. I love once-a-day magic items. You just have a bandolier. Ooh, I'm going to use this one and then put it in the pack. I'm going to use this other one. That's fun. I like little reusable, you can use it every day, find a reason to use it. That kind of thing is cool. With this, you gotta pay for all of those once an entire game. Nah. Or like how I choose commander cards. Yeah, the spell's pretty good, but you don't get to cast it every turn. You don't get to recur it every turn, or you can't dredge it back, or it doesn't have flashback or whatever, you know, that kind of thing. You can't retrace it. You know, if a spell's worth casting once, it's worth casting every turn for the next 45 minutes, am I right? Anyway, we got Skull Grinder. He has the Brazen Anvil. Bone Crushing Strikes. If this unit uses a fight ability, all the attacks target the same monster, and any of the attacks score a crit, the monster has strike last for the rest of the turn. Bad. Once per battle army deployment phase. Tempered Fury. Pick another friendly hero with an 8. Pick one of the target's melee weapons, add one to the rend. Oh, because so the lore of this guy is that he swings an anvil around on a chain, and the anvil is also on fire. Which is why Frank likes him, because he's preposterously dumb. But that's funny. And so they finally gave him a little flavor ability, right? Like, he is smithing some other hero's weapon and he makes it better. He gives a +1 rend for the rest of the battle. That's cool. I think that's cool. You don't even have to roll for it. Can this guy be 60 points and a free drop just so you can do the funny thing? I'd probably play him at that cost. $150. Oh, he is technically maybe free. Okay, we're half there. He costs exactly double what he should. I'm serious. He should cost 70 points. And then he'd be really cool. 150, no. But he's cool. Well, he's not cool, but I like the Tempered Fury ability. I like how he blacksmiths for you. That's funny. I wish he cost 70. Tempered as any Khorne mortal hero, at least. Yeah, that's fun. Aspiring Deathbringer. The man with the funny hat. He has some attacks. They don't have abilities. He has good armor. Furious War Leader. Pick a friendly Blood Warriors unit that does not use the fight ability. Okay. If it is picked to do so, add 1 to wound rolls for attacks. Okay, +1 to wound is good. That's alright. It's going to be tricky to get him into the same combat as somebody else, but at least it makes your guys have a bonus. I don't like the ones that pull someone else in and just let them fight, because why? You know, but the ones that give a bonus, that is something. Aspiring Deathbringer, he sounds like one of your free guys, and he is, and he's 130. I might play this guy, maybe. Yeah, obviously, if you're on Blood Warriors or Mortals, right? But I like the fact that his ability is an actual buff instead of nothing like the other one. Now, it's true he can't do anything, but he's not a drop, so he's a maybe. 130 isn't too crazy for that. Exalted Deathbringer. Deathbingler. Any damage points were allocated to any enemy units by this, and it was destroyed, heal 5, and give it a glorious ascent token. Add 1 tax characteristic of this unit. Trash. Blood Reavers. Minecraft looking ass sculpts. Add 1 to rend if they charged. Okay. Well, here's the thing about Blood Reavers. From my recollection, they are what is known as chaff. And so as long as they cost almost nothing, and 100 qualifies, then they're neat. I think what is it? Fleshhounds 110 are in contention for a BT thing or chaff. Blood Reavers 100 for BT or chaff. Claws of Karnak 120 for BT unit or chaff. You got some options there for just thing. Mighty Skulk Rushers. You get 3 of them. They have a 2-up base save. The God of Destruction's base save from 3rd edition. Recently downgraded to a 4-up. 3, 3, 3, 1, 3. Sorry, 2 on the charge. If this unit charged, do the not fun roll. And that's it. Okay, well, here's the thing. They don't do a lot of damage. And they're not particularly fast. But they have control 2 and a 2-up base save. So if your opponent isn't doing mortal wounds, they're invincible. Johnny 2-up over here. But what do they cost? Mighty Skulk Rushers. 260 for 3. That's entirely too much. But I appreciate that they do more damage than they used to. Parenthetical. They used to do 0. Now they do a real number above 0. Skull Reapers. Oh, the chin. The chin on this man. Look at this fucking symbol. Holy. Now, these dudes always looked like they slapped. They looked like they did so much damage. And then you opened the book, and it always had a damage characteristic of 1. And I didn't understand what they were thinking. But now in 4th edition, they looked at this model, and they're like, this doesn't strike me as a 1 damage model. And they were right. And they condensed all the stupid different weapon it's just good. 4 attacks, 4s and 3s, 1, 2 crit mortal, 3, 4. Now the Trial of Skulls, they have this who fucking asked journal entry, personal history montage. If this unit destroyed an enemy unit this turn, add 8 to its control score. If it did not, it has a control score of 1 that can't be modified. This ability is really weird and doesn't play well. Like, sometimes it doesn't work for weird reasons, and sometimes it does work for weird reasons. The fact that this ability is maybe a little poorly thought out and doesn't necessarily play great, don't worry about it. Here's the long and short of it. The Skull Reapers will fight something, and when they fight that thing, it's fucking dead. And so it doesn't matter what their control score is. You can't capture a point if you are dead. They finally reap the skulls. They're 5 for 220. This price does not need to go up. They're good. They're good where they are. They're fun detected and allowed. And by fun, if we use Google Translate, fun means damage. And then you have these stupid guys. Here they are, the Wrathmonglers. They got Wrath Flails, 4, 4, 3, 1, 1, crit 2 hits. They have Blood Fury. Each time an unmodified hit roll for a combat attack targets this unit is 1. Inflict a mortal. So each time their opponents absolutely nat 1, they die. They actually die. And then Crimson Haze. While this is in combat at 1 attacks characteristic of melee weapons used by bloodbound units, including them that are wholly within 12. Wholly within 12 is a lot more generous than it used to be. And you just kind of line them up and you can do the thing with them. They do the thing. What's nice about Wrathmonglers is they are a non-hero that issues your guys a buff that you would normally be getting from a hero. And as a non-hero, they don't have to be an entire drop. So I actually like them. Wrathmonglers. They're 150 for 5. They even cost the same amount as you would have paid for the foot hero. This unit, it's a foot hero with 15 wounds. What's not to like? Maybe what they look like, but you know what? You're leaning into it. This is the fun of it. This army must look better in person with different paint jobs, right? Very much so. Yeah. A lot of this army is still like hella dumb, but it looks way better in person with good paint jobs and stuff. Yeah. I should say that hella dumb is on purpose. It's a comedic army. You're supposed to like laugh when you're looking at it, but in a fun way. Like you're getting into the character of it. Like, look at this, is actually Judge Dredd in a football uniform. Like, that's funny. Isn't it? I don't know, to me it is. This is Judge Dredd in football attire, holding an axe with goalposts for a helmet. That's great. Bro doesn't watch football. It's true that I don't, yeah. I don't know too much about football. But he kind of looks like he has the shoulder pads for it. Anyway, these are Blood Warriors. Whenever they die, they can't... Sometimes when they die, they explode and punish you for attacking them. 3 up base save, 2 wounds, big. And decent amount of attacks that do stuff. They're good. You get 10 of them. They are your Chaos Warriors. They're the Khorne's answer to Chaos Warriors. And you got your 3 up save. They're 210 points for 10. They're just very equivalent to Blood Warriors, or sorry, to Chaos Warriors. Every Chaos Warrior block of 10 you will ever fight will be marked Nurgle, and so they're much harder to kill than these. But these guys do more damage, and when you kill them, sometimes they blow up. Fair's fair. Ahem. Blood Storker. The big boy. What do you do? You can whip into Furry. Pick a friendly non-hero bloodbound unit. For the rest of the turn, you can run and charge. That's good. That's worth doing. That's a good ability. Stud Blorker. Are you a free drop? Ding, ding, ding. Free drop. Let's go. And only 110. As Frank points out in the chat. You don't actually need this guy because Murderlust is so OP. But potentially if it gets balanced in some way, which would be weird because Khorne statistically isn't doing well, so why would you nerf an army that's doing not well, right? But you do have an answer to that just in case. When they nerf Murderlust, this guy's stocks go up and he'll be a free drop. Korgarath. And then Bleeding Icon. Sigil of Doom, 2d6 on an 8-up. That command has no effect. Opponent can declare a command for a unit with an 8, huh? Sure. Okay. It can't move and you have to use the command with an 8, so that's pretty... What's the word? Bad. Hexgorger Skulks. When a number of damage points equal to the manifestation's health is allocated to it, it is destroyed, and both parts are removed. Each time it moves, both parts have to be within 8 of each other. And each part has this thing. So technically, if they're both attacking, it has 4 attacks. Yeah, Khorne's sacred number is 8. Yeah. Hexgorges. For each part of this that is within 8 of a wizard. -1 from casting rolls. It moves 8. These are not good either. I don't think. They don't read good to me. In the games that they were summoned against me, they never did anything, but then again, I lost really hard, so maybe I lost too quickly for them to matter. -2 to casting can be annoying. If you summon them within 8 of your opponent, like, if you're within 8, if your priest is within 8 of a wizard, to summon them maybe. I guess. I don't know. It didn't matter in my game. I could see it mattering in a Stars Align situation. Or maybe they just can't get rid of them, or they fail to on a particular turn, and it really hooks into their wizardry, maybe. I think their range is just too small. And then the big axe. The Wrath Axe looks sweet. Only 3 attacks is kind of sad. 3/2 2d3 though. Pick up to 3 enemy units that have passed across, and then d3, it's the thing. Okay. These are not exciting, any of them. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but I don't think your manifestations are really that good. And they really should be, because, so, stop me if I'm saying things that are crazy, but I think the generic manifestations should be, in general, not great, because they're for everybody. But then the specific ones you get for your army, right, those should be, like, really good, or at least better than the generic ones. You would think that the specific ones would be better than the generic ones. But it's exactly the opposite. I think that's weird. And also there's no generic priest ones, which is also kind of weird. Because there are armies like mine that have priests but no, you know, manifestation lore to choose for priests. You know? Anyway, then we got the Skull-altar, which is a little gazebo-looking manhole cover thing that your man stands on top of. And it does something, and I can't remember what it does. There's a bunch of rules for, like, this is how your man stands on it. He's man standing. Alright, words of hate. Well, the terrain feature has a priest on top of it, right? It has to be a priest. Okay, so when your slaughter priest is standing on it. +1 the chanting rolls. Great. Cannot use move abilities. Well, okay, I guess that's how you stand on it. Instead of measuring range and visibility, you measure it from the terrain feature instead. That's good. All attacks that would target the invoker target the terrain feature instead. Good. If this terrain is destroyed, he tumbles off of it. Okay. Is that it? Alright, a friendly unit within 18 of this terrain feature was picked to be the target of an enemy spell. Okay. 5 up, you get a blood tithe. And you ignore it. The terrain feature can't be... this terrain feature can use this ability more than once per phase, but you can only roll once for each friendly unit per spell cast. Okay. Sure. Very unlikely to work. 5 up. That sucks. But you probably get to roll it a lot, maybe late game or something. Used to be their army roll, yeah. I mean, it's free and it's not bad. It's probably pretty rare, but you'll probably get to roll it a decent amount. Why is this 18? It's not tied to an 8 multiple? Okay, so it says 8. That's the number. They just added 10 to it. 8's your number. They did it. Stop it with the 8 shit. Alright, hey, +1 chanting rolls. I was sold when I read this one sentence already, right? Anything else is sure, extra, fine. Your manifestations are not good. Korgorath, for what it's worth, this guy has never been good, but he is worse than ever, which is pretty amazing. This guy's waiting for Murderlust to get nerfed and then he'll be good. Blood Warriors are good. Wrathmongelers are heroes that don't take up a hero slot. Skull Reapers do a shitload of damage just like they always should have and how we always wanted them to. These guys kind of suck. Well, they don't kind of suck. They're really expensive and they have a 2-up save. That's cool. These are good chaff. This guy does nothing. This guy's maybe useful as a bonus man if you're playing Blood Warriors or something. That's kind of cool. This guy costs more than he should. Slaughter Priests are good. You don't have to play this guy anymore. the dog cosplayers are actually good chaff, I think. Check the choreograph points as a funny joke. Oh no. 170. Man, I wouldn't pay 100 for him. I'm gonna give you 100 points to fuck off. And what else? Blood letters are possibly playable even. Blood letters do a bunch of mortals. The bloodthirsters are good. The one thing I was looking at, what did you play, Frank? Khorne Legion, Murder Host, Brass Stampede, Bloodbound Warhorde. Was it this one? It was Khorne Legion. Oh, yeah. Boom Thirster into a 20 block of warriors, big swing, double swing. And normally it's difficult to line these things up, but that Bloodthirster probably has a 6-inch Murder Lust, perhaps. I didn't think this is that great, because your guys are just going to die anyway, those. Strike first, you don't care. This is like maybe alright. But hoofing your way all the way to something with an enemy on it might be a little tricky. You actually don't care about priest anymore besides the slaughter priest? Yeah, that's what I looked at. Mostly because you ran out of slots, right? Anyway, I think it's cool. This book remembered fun a lot more than the average book, I think. 6-inch Murder Lust is nuts. Fun Aloud. Does it stay? Is this the only book that stays in Fun Aloud? Is there enough good stuff in it? And the things that aren't fun in it are more a property of how the core rules let them down and army building has let them down in a way? Or is there enough stuff in their book that isn't really that great, even though a lot is, that it goes down into nice? Because that was the case here. The top 6 units in the Slaves book are almost Fun Aloud, but then there's like 30 other units that are just all whatever. I think it actually goes here. I don't think fun is allowed fully, really, in everything. I mostly judge it based on how many things appear playable. Not entirely, but... I had fun playing against Khorne in my many Khorne games. I got absolutely butt blasted into the stratosphere each game. But I had fun and I thought Khorne was really cool. I was like getting destroyed and I'm like, that's really cool. Oh, neat. That's a cool trick. That's pretty good. I have no chance at all, but that thing's really sweet. And I don't know, it's kind of a good thing when that can happen. Highest possible praise, I guess, yeah. The Halo 2 of Blood as well. Let's go. Manifestation lore. Alright. There it is. Look at this dude. He's in the Jeb Bush pose. It's all Jeb. Ah. Got a lot of duds with the Mortal Heroes. Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of duds. It's... Maybe that's something that... I was going to say maybe that's something to talk about, but me and every other content creator I've ever heard of have been complaining for 4 editions now that Games Workshop can't seem to write a book that isn't filled with 2/3 duds. So, hey, maybe next time. When they gave us 6 artifacts in the book and only 1 was good, and now there's 3 artifacts in the book and only 1's good, it's like, okay. Is there an internal memo where you're just not allowed to write any more than 1 good one? Or what? Maybe, here's my, okay, tinfoil hat. When they're making the books, they just choose. So, the Khorne Army and Khorne Heroes, they give them the one that you know is good the first time you read it, right? That's the artifact. And then they have 1 trait. And then that's how they balance, like, they play test with those. And then right before they ship, they just type out 2 minutes before it goes to print, they just type out 2 other random things that aren't never even intended to be played with, right? Just to make it look like you have a choice. But really, they were always planning on the one that's obviously the one you take to be the one that you take. And the others are typed up by an intern in exactly 35 seconds off the top of their head. Just to make it look like there's something on the page. You somehow deluded yourself into thinking this would be the edition where foot heroes were going to be good. It's actually the opposite. They've never been worse. Which is impressive. But I think that army, the way that you build armies this edition really needs to change. For the good of the edition. Because everybody likes 4th edition right now, and I do too. But if we're playing with this army, the way you build armies for the next 4 years, I think it might sour it. But it's so easy to fix, I think, so that there's like a positive spin on that. Maybe they just need more time in their development cycle so they can actually write more thought out options. Maybe. There's a bunch of reasons why they might be doing a bad job. And always have been doing a bad job at that job. Maybe it's they don't have enough time, or their bosses told them to do a bad job on purpose as a giant joke to everybody. I don't know. Like, there's a whole bunch of reasons that it could be. The fact remains that they aren't. Killing Battleshock was a good move, but big blocks are gonna rule without serious horde breakers. Well, the horde breaker is the other big block, right? Everybody has a horde breaker, and it's so I have my big block and you have your big block, and those are the horde breakers. It's just whichever one fights gets them, you know. You should do it like War Machine, where your hero gives you points to spend instead of costing you points. Interesting. So the more heroes you take, the more points you get to spend, huh? Huh. That would be a lot different. I don't think Marathi would give you points, but I assume you mean like foot heroes. That being said, Frank, I agree. Killing Battleshock was a really good idea. And 3-inch combat range was a really good idea that really does speed up the game. But did they really factor in that you're doing maybe double damage, sometimes even triple damage now with everything that's not a monster? I don't know. Did they factor that whole consequence in? I don't know. Yeah, Khorne lost a lot of... Well, I mean, everybody lost a lot of stuff. And Khorne lost a lot of stuff, too. They just kept more than most armies did, kinda. It's like the main reason why nobody can be in Fun Aloud tier by the time it gets right down to it. Because the armies lost too many interesting things. Even the good armies and the fun ones lost too much this edition. Stormcast is in a rough place regardless. I mean, Stormcast has kind of always been in a rough place. IJ lost everything. Yeah, Ironjaw's lost everything. Beastclaw Raiders lost everything. A bunch of people lost stuff, and a bunch of people lost most. Some people lost most stuff, even. But, I don't know. From that one thing, there's only... Here... They left you with... Remember the article. Okay. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Remember the article. They left us with the most massive cope ever, which was, well, the Stormcast and Skaven tomes are the same, basically, as the faction focus. Some armies might get changes in their battle tome, and that's all we have to hold on to anymore. The strands are fraying. The claws on the windowsill are just peeling the paint off. This is the last hope. Blech. FEC is a war scroll army with bad war scrolls. I mean, not, well, yeah. They just need another 10% and they're good. I like Big Oosh. I like that guy. That guy's funny. But yeah, I mean, even when we were going over FEC and reading the army's rules, it's like, hey, when your foot heroes enter combat and kill stuff, you get these points. And I'm like, do you play this game? What do you mean when your foot heroes enter combat and kill stuff? What do you mean? When do we go back to playing third? Never. No. If I'm gonna play an old edition of Age of Sigmar, it ain't gonna be third, friend. That's for fucking sure. No way, no how. No, I'll just play fourth. Fourth is good despite all of our complaining. It's better than third, that's for sure. Yeah, Gentleman's second with realm artifacts. Amulet of Anvil of Apotheosis for your special hero. Now that's narrative, right? It'll be great. And then we'll misremember all the second edition rules into the quality of life ones from fourth, and it'll be the best shit ever. Real battle plans like the orb. It's wild they just straight out told us they did no work on Skaven and Stormcast. I agree. That's wild. I thought they were gonna do something. Isn't that funny how pathetic that sounds when I say it out loud? I almost stopped myself when it was happening. I mean, you were here. I really thought they were gonna do something. Damn. It's a good thing that I have managed to, like, my jimmies can't be rustled by this because I just don't care enough for that to be the case. So it's kind of funny. I mean, it sucks, but it's kind of funny. And then they're gonna take all the rules away that you got for free, and even though your rules are not changing, you still can't use them unless you on the phone app, unless you QR code the book you bought. I love it. Dude, it's never been a better time to buy. Log in. Damn, this shit's sick. Hey, thanks for watching. I gotta go early tonight. I apologize for it. But I do have to leave the Wizard Tower tomorrow morning. But on the plus side, I'll get to stop by the farmer's market And then I can tell you about, hopefully, we'll get some protesters. Because those are always fun to watch. And pick up some fine cuisine. Buy this new book for $75 US or whatever. $50, 75, who knows? You know, get a Danish. Anyway, I'll see you guys Monday. And stay safe out there. Have a good day. Oh, next week, Rifts. Let's fucking go.